Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome in. And we're going to do a review tonight. We're going to do a review of the Super Jerry project that's now finished. And we're going to do a new project reveal, new project alert, whatever we're going to call it. Anyway, as many of you know, the last few shows I've had a little intro video that I created myself on Canva and CapCut. And with my limited capabilities, I did the best I could. And it was pretty cool. I put some photos in there and stuff. But a friend of mine who really needed the business, a friend of mine who's in the film industry, I hired him, and he actually created a nice small intro and outro video for me. So with that, we're going to show that off. And this is going to be the new official intro video. So let's go. Let's get started. And there you have it. So, what do you think? Did you miss it? I mean, I can show it again. If you really did miss it, we can do it again. But that's that's the intro video. That's what I'm going to be using from now on. Again, huge shout out to my friend John Eng. That's JONENGE. If you guys are interested in any kind of video editing, if you guys do live videos and you want someone to produce a little intro video for yourself, hit me up on the side, DM me, and I will put you in touch with him, and he will work his magic for you, and just like he did with me. It's pretty cool stuff. And with that, like I said, let me know if you want to talk to him. I'll hook you guys up, and we'll set you free. So anyway, today we finished the Super Jerry. I knew last week I was pretty close to being done, and I was right. We're finished. So I'm going to do a little review. I'm going to show you the finished product, and then we'll get on and start with the new project reveal. It's a rather ambitious. Well, there's several layers to it, and I'll get into that in a bit. There are several layers to this rather ambitious new project that I'm thinking of doing. Depends on how deep down the rabbit hole I want to go. So let's look at the Super Jerry. So let me bring it down to close-up view here. Actually, I can just go down, look right now. And there we go. So really happy with the way this turned out. And in fact, I've had a couple of friends tell me that they think this is by far one of the best builds or the way they like it as much as one of the best that I've ever done. I'm really happy with this, with the way it turned out. So I haven't put any magnets on. I still may do that. I mean, there's a couple little things I may add to this before I go to the next show with it or something like that. But I might put some magnets in the feet just to secure this a little bit tighter to the base. Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing, buddy? I may put magnets in the feet. I may not. It's relatively sturdy. What's up, Julius? The way it is, so I may not have to do that. But did you guys catch the intro video? Did you guys catch the new one? The official, what my new intro is going to be. Let me know if you saw it. If not, I can play it again for you if you want. But anyway, I was really kind of pleased by the way there's a new Maschinen Krieger group, especially like Paint on Plastic group with Lincoln Wright. His group that's pretty much what they do. A lot of the people build Maschinen Krieger Mach stuff, and this was my first attempt at a Maschinen kit, and I'm actually very happy with it. They do definitely bring out, no, I missed it. Computer wouldn't start up. Oh, no. Well, I can play it again for you. You want to play it again before we get into the talking about this? You want to do it one more time? Let's do it one more time. So let me bring up the intro video. Here you go in its entirety. Well, there you have it. Yeah, way better than what I made, I must say. And so, like I said, if you guys want, if you want his information, his name is John Eng. That's Jonenge, and he. Thanks, thanks, Julius. I appreciate it. I think it's way better than what I produced. I mean, my limited capabilities on CapCut and what's the other one? I can't remember. Anyway, that's what I just created my little thing, and it worked out good. But it gave me some ideas, and then I turned it over to him, and he worked his magic and did a great job. So if you guys have any kind of video editing that you need done, and you want to hire somebody to do it, I got the guy for you. This is his gig. It's what he does for a living, and he does a great job for it. So anyway, moving on. Thanks, Nick. That's awesome. Yeah, it is way better. I must say, I'm not afraid to admit that mine was pretty good. It was all right. It got the job done, but his is way better. So, and I got a little outro too. So at the end of the show, you guys will see that too. It's a little bit similar to what I had, but it's he did that too for me. So anyway, we were talking about this. I didn't put magnets in the feet yet. I may still do that. I may not. It really does sit flat on this base relatively well, so I'm not sure I need to do that, but it would just be for my own peace of mind if people try to pick this up for whatever stupid reason. You know, sometimes judges or people at an event might try to pick it up and look at it, not realizing it's not necessarily secured unless you tell them it's secured. So but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I like the chipping and the rust and the weathering. Everything kind of came together and looked really nicely. So I joined an actual group for Maschinen Krieger just after I finished this, and they were just really, really happy with it too. And so that kind of reassured me that I gave this justice. I was kind of how do I say this? I know I can do some of these advanced techniques and stuff like that, but Maschinen Krieger community is pretty tight knit, and they have a certain flavor for the way they do their kits and stuff like that. So I was kind of concerned. I wanted to make sure that I gave it justice, and I think I did a good job of that. And so everybody's been really welcoming with that. And is it top heavy? No, it's not, Julius. This is a solid 5-inch wood block. So this is really just, I mean, you can kind of see it's rocking around a little bit, but I just might put some magnets in the feet just to kind of keep it down and hold it down, but not too terribly bad. And like I said last week, I didn't glue this antenna in because I want to be able to flip it over and access the battery that's in the belly of it if I ever need to do that when I take it to shows and stuff like that. So I am going to take this off the base, and I'll bring the base up close so you guys can see a lot of the details as far as the figure and the and you kind of see the cockpit nicely there too, but I'm going to pop this guy off here, and I'll just hold up so you can get a little bit closer view. The figure set A is what I purchased for this, for the figures and stuff like that. It also came with all the tools and the little jerry cans that you see on the screen. So it's really a nice kit. It comes with 3 figures and all these little accessories. And I used most of them on this one little kit. So I'm just going to bring this up so it'll be a little bit closer so you guys can see all the little tools. And each one of those is on a runner. You have to cut them off and paint everything individually, except for the little socket set there. That's all embedded, but the figures are really nice. It comes with a coffee cup. I even put some coffee in there. You can see the shiny little coffee inside the cup. You got the jerry cans and one of the little torches. So I'm really super happy the way it turned out. Yeah. So again, I might put some magnets in the feet here, but we'll see. I'm gonna just lift this up so you guys can get a little bit closer view of the final product. I really like the weathering and the chipping and rust. All that stuff has worked out really nicely. There's not a ton of decals. These skull and crossbones, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. And, of course, I'm a huge Macross fan, so the skull and crossbones kind of goes a long way with me. And I couldn't resist putting it on this kit. Yeah, some of those decals came with the figure set. Actually came with a nice set, actually a larger set than the actual kit itself came with. And there are fiber optics in the belly, or in the cockpit. The belly of this thing houses the battery. I can kind of flip that over. I'm just going to take this antenna out real quick, lay it down here where I can grab it in a second. So as I flip this over, this was that door that I had cut out and scribed. This piece on the floor here, or the belly of the kit, was not cut out before. I just used some chisels and cut that out. I put a nice magnet here and here, so when it goes back on, clicks on nice and tight. There's some engine oil there, you see, and that's where all this comes from on the base. So I had, obviously got a pretty good sizable oil leak, so I got some engine oil there coming out of the vent. But yeah, there you go. I'm just going to pop this antenna back in. What's up? Mike is in the house. Forest Ghost. How you doing, Mike? We're just thanks Nick. We're talking about this Mod K kit here that is all finished. I'm just going to pop this antenna back in. There we go. Oops, almost had it. There we go. Tiny little hole that pops into. But yeah, we're done, and then I'm going to be revealing the next build here. There is my next project is rather ambitious. I'll get into that in a second. So, doing great, man. The Jerry looks great. I appreciate that, Mike. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Last week we were working on the base and kind of finishing up the touches on that, and then I was able to glue all the tools down and the figure and the little jerry cans, all the little things that kind of bring it together, make this nice little vignette come together. I'm super happy with it. So with that, we're going to move this aside, and I will go and I will start talking. We'll bring in the next project, and some of you already know what it is. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to move away from the table here, and I will be right back in 20 seconds. And I try not to drop this. All right. Okay, so go back to this look here. So the next project, it's actually multi-layered. This is what I'm starting right now. The Quam-ra movie edition from Macross. It's a 1/7/2 scale. It's huge. And I've started some of the basic construction, and that's what I'll continue doing tonight. But I want to go over what my idea of this project, or what I'm trying to reproduce. And like I said, it's rather ambitious. I'm not sure. What's up, Angel? I'm not sure how deep down the rabbit hole I'm going to go with this. But if I can pull this off, it'll be pretty epic. So if anybody's ever watched the Do You Remember Love movie edition of Macross, okay, there's a rather pretty cool ace pilot, a little one-on-one combat scenario that goes on between Miria and Max. At one point, she's retreating back to her ship. She goes in through the doors, and he follows her, shortly behind that. And in the corridor is where she's laying a trap for him. Anyway, so I'm going to show you the other kit, because this is obviously the Quam-ra kit that I'm going to be starting with. The other kit that's going to go in this little setup is the 1/7/2 Max Battleroid. So here's another view of that little fight that they have in the movie. It's this is all illustrated by Tenjin, which is, he does a majority of all Hasegawa Macross artwork. And so when I'm finished with the Miria kit, I'm going to be moving on to the Max Battleroid kit and finishing this. So what I am thinking of doing, I'm going to bring up a photo here. Let's see. Okay, so let's go to close view, and I can bring this up. All right, so here is what I'm trying to reproduce. So I don't think I'll have such a long hallway. I think that would be a little bit hard to do, just based on the scale of this, because the Quam-ra kit is pretty big already. And if you look in the background there, she's up above the doorway, kind of mounted to the, holding herself up to the ceiling there as he comes through and transforms and lands on the ground in front of her. So I want to try to reproduce this hallway, this scene, in fact. Okay. Now, the third layer to this massively ambitious idea is to paint it in anime shell shade, just like this, which I've never done. What's up, George? George is in the house. I was waiting for him to show up. He's probably painting or priming his GM cannon. Well, he better be, because that's what he's been talking about all week on his live stream. So, Mr. Old School Gunpla, as he would call me, Mr. Vino in the house. What's up? Voidbringer is here. So, this is what I want to recreate, and it's very ambitious. So we're going to see just how how deep I'll go here. I've never done a cell shade paint scheme before, and fortunately I have these reference shots that I took straight from the video. I just took a picture with my camera. Was watching the Guns of Navarone. Oh, by the way, George, you just reminded me of something. You were talking in one of your live streams about a new British crime drama that you just love to watch, and it's called Blue Lights. Well, I have to say, my wife is already hooked on that damn show, and she watches these British crime dramas all the time, and I just don't want to get into another series, but yeah, I know they're pretty cool. Anyway, I just had to throw that out there because I thought it was pretty funny that you mentioned that show and she was actually watching it at the same time. So, Davey, looking good, man. How you doing, buddy? Looking forward to it. So, you're looking forward to this hallway? Yeah, I know. Me too. But I don't know how long it's going to take, and I'm not even sure I can pull off this paint scheme. But we're going to figure it out as we go here. If you need good mech references, I go to Borderlands for line work. Well, I have the video references from the movie. I'm just trying to recreate this scene, so I'm going to be referencing this mostly for the anime paint scheme, the cell shading type stuff. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. But I will certainly check that out. Borderlands. Oh yeah, Borderlands. Was that a video game? Wasn't that a video game? Because I played Borderlands. If that's the one I'm thinking of, which was pretty cool because it was all that done in that cell shading stuff. It's an awesome TV series. Your wife is right. You should watch it with her. Well, guess what, George? I'm doing live streams right now, and that's probably why I'm not watching it. So I'm going to move some parts down here. I've been working on this quite a little row. Got the little head here. There we go. A little face. How cute. Now, judging by somebody asked me earlier when I was talking about doing this, they were saying they hope a grunt suit comes out or TV version. I'm not sure if they're going to have a TV version, but judging by the extra parts on the runners, there will probably be a grunt suit version of this. Are you serious? I can't do this right now. My stepson is trying, or my son is trying to video call me, and I'm right in the middle. So I got the arms together here, and I haven't glued this together. I've been trying to kind of glue everything, or glue things that I needed to. There's not much of a seam here. There's a pretty big seam across the back of the arm that I gotta deal with. The fingers all move independently, which is kind of cool. There's even a little ball joint behind the hand here. Kind of moves around. These will actually rotate as well. I'm not sure why, because I don't think they do anyway. They just basically shoot straight out of these little cannon barrels here. And then you've got the elbow and the shoulder joint here. Now, this black strip in the center is actually like a structure that goes inside and actually supports most of the arm. The same design is here in the leg. You can see half of it here. Or you've got this center piece that in the back here, a portion of it's exposed, but in the front, actually, this is the back. Yeah, the back is exposed. So there's a black line in the back, and the front is actually sealed up completely. So I'm trying to make this where I can take it back apart because I've got to be able to paint some of these internal surfaces black. I want to continue with the anime theme and kind of paint the insides of the stuff that you can see, but you're not going to necessarily want it to be just body color or whatever that is. Yeah, it's a video game. Yeah, that's right. It would be best if you scratch built textures and so forth. Well, yeah, I'm going to be scratch building the hallway for sure. My biggest concern is the paint scheme, is painting it in cell shaded colors. I've never done that before, and I've seen it done, and I've seen it done very well, but I've never tried it, so it's going to be something. And another reason why I want to be able to take this apart is because this is the upper leg portion here. I've got a large seam here I have to tend with, but that's also going to go in here. And I'm going to have to paint this first before I actually seal the lower leg portion together like so. Let's see, this kind of goes in just kind of like this. But before I glue these two halves together, I've got to address all this interior area here, as well as the piece, this knee joint, the upper leg that I have to paint. And then I'll just mask it off when I do the lower leg. So there's going to be a little bit of process to get this looking the way I want it to look. I'll probably end up trimming all these pegs off so it's easier for me to pull the two halves apart. Flushed your son, nice. Well, I hope it's not something serious. Let's see it. Okay, let me see what's going on. I'll send him a message and ask him what's up. That was on, wow. Yeah. Give me 1 sec here. Very rarely video calls me, but occasionally it comes through. So that's where we're at. Let me move these down where everybody can see what's going on. This is all part of the upper leg. We've got the two arms. These are effectively finished. I just haven't glued them together because I'm going to separate everything. I'm going to pull these pieces off. I did find out that I can insert this as well as the hand and the upper arm after all this is glued together, so I can paint everything inside of those recesses and stuff before I put it together. Black gum, acrylic paint marker is your best friend. Paint markers? I don't use paint markers. Sorry, Mr. Voidbringer. I use paint. I don't use any paint markers. I have some, and I was going to experiment with them, but I just don't like them, so I don't use them. You mean for the interior stuff? Is that what you're talking about? I could see that maybe. All right, let's see what this is about here. Oh, okay. Let me answer him real quick. At 7. Yeah, that's kind of important. I feel bad for not answering, but it's all good. He wants to introduce me to my granddaughter, which I have not been able to see in person yet because of all the other stuff going on in the world. All right, so I think I'm going to bump this camera angle up a little bit. Just a sec here. Let me see. No, I said you want to go the other direction. I'll bump it up to there and update that position. Okay, there we go. So now I can move up here. All right, so that's where we're at with this. If you're watching, don't forget to feed the algorithm goods and hit the like. Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks, Voidbringer. I appreciate you. Yeah, smash that like button. Tell your friends. And I do have an Amazon shop too, so you guys can check that out too. For all the tools or some of the tools and supplies I use every day. The link should be in the description. So, getting back to this, I think what I'm going to do is I've glued this half in on this one side. So this is not going to move anymore, but what I want to be able to do, I'm going to have to be able to separate this later on so I can paint this this upper section and then put it together again later. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these pegs, and what I mean by that is cutting them at an angle, so because they fit really, really tight. What they've done in Hasegawa, this is by far one of the. It's not the usual Hasegawa kit that like a lot of the Valkyries I've built. You have to use glue on everything. These have square holes here with round pegs, so they're really, really tight fit. Thick cobweb lines look. Oh, gotcha. Okay, now I understand. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's why I'm going to use that reference photo that I took and see if I've got to add those little highlights. Yeah, for sure. I totally understand what you're saying there. Especially on the edges and corners and stuff like that. So shade lines, yeah. They're like a standard, I know, right? So if you've ever done this before, especially in building a gunpla kit, you can cut the pegs at an angle. I don't know if you can see that. I've cut that one in the center right here at an angle. So there's still enough of the peg there to join the two pieces, but it'll allow you to separate the two halves easier later on. Because if I push these two together the way they came out, the way they were, it would almost be impossible to separate them without damaging the kit. So what I'm just doing is I'm trimming off a little bit of plastic with my God hands here, and then let's see, one more question going on. Oh, damn it. Oh. Now I feel bad. Okay, so let's see how that works out. I've cut these down too. I'm going to cut these as well. I cut them, but not enough. I want to get a little bit more off because there's just there. Okay, so particularly you can see on those two pegs, I trim those down at kind of like a sharp point. Still allows enough of that peg to hold onto your piece, but it'll separate much easier. See, now you can press it together. You can still feel for the part, but when it comes time to separate it, there you go. Again, just what I know. Look, you're going for. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't mean to disagree with you in such a stern manner. I was thinking you were talking about something else, but yeah, totally, absolutely. I think you're right. Might be able to use those for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to almost dropped. One of the nice things about this kit, it has a sheet that is all an entire color sheet, which is just all the color scheme, and it even has an entire alphabet of the Meltrandi language down here at the bottom, which is kind of interesting. A nice decal sheet. So I'm going to pop this away for a second. Let me answer him real quick. All right. So here's where I was at. Started here, finished the upper leg, and then we were working on lower leg. Yeah, okay, so front, back, there we go. So this goes into this. There's quite a few polycaps too that are used on this. So here's the knee joint. Now that I've trimmed all those down, I'm actually going to install this other piece, which goes along the back. They've done a pretty good job of sealing off all of the areas that you wouldn't want to see. Like the back of the leg here, like this whole piece will travel over that, but it seals all this up so you can't see it, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to pump this together here. again, now that I have all this pegs trimmed down, if I can get these, might be easier if I do it on this side. These long pins that go across are kind of hard to line up. Wow, that almost, there we go. Okay. Almost tweaked that. All right, now I'm just going to try to line this up. Man, this is not easy. Not as easy as I thought it would be. Let's try switching this out. Let's put this on this side. All right. So now I can see where those end of those pins are and just get them lined up. There we go. Damn. It's not as simple as it looks. There we go. Pops right in. So that just needs to drop down just a hair. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is the full leg portion here. I mean, it's a pretty massive foot. And there's also, here's our massive leg. So here's the foot, as we just kind of, I haven't popped that on completely, but you see the length of that. It's a massive kit. It's going to be quite huge when this is all done. I'll pop that back off here because I don't know if that's where we're supposed to go next. All right. So I'm going to switch over to the other side here. Just doing basic construction. Where we're at now. Another thing I see that they've done here is they've included a piece to seal off the whole front here above the foot, which is kind of cool. I missed the live stream last week, but saw the Instagram shots. Nice job on the Mach-8 kit. What's this I got here late? Oh, okay. What I am building is, right now, we're starting the next project, and that's this guy. It's a Quam-ra from Movie Edition Macross. I'm going to be doing the Max Battleroid as well, and trying to recreate a scene from the actual movie. That's where we're at with that. Oh, wow. Where'd I go? There we go. Sometimes my comments like jump around and I've got to figure out where we're at. So how's everybody's Wednesday doing? So far, so good. I had a decent day at work. It's nice knowing what you're going to do. You know, it's sometimes you walk in, you don't know what the day is going to hold. I kind of knew what I was running into today, so it was nice to be able to I may have to cut this back too. But... So this is going to fit right up in here like so. And then the edges go around the corners just like that. Wow, that's kind of nice. So it seals off that whole front section there. And then we've got another piece that's got to go. There's 4 little plugs that go in these holes here. I don't have to install those now because I'll probably pop them back out anyway, even if I do, just to paint them and then put them back in when I'm done painting. But I'm just going to do the front, mostly the front of the leg at this point. What I have in front of me behind the camera here is my my wall with my pegboard on it. I've got all the runners on the pegs, so it frees up all of my workspace. I think Mike has professionally finished 3 kits during the time. Wait, what did you say? Julius? Professionally finished 3 kits during the time I've been and still am working on the GM Sniper. Well, I will say, I think because the schedule I've been kind of holding myself to, I've been working faster than I typically do on these kits, because I was trying to make sure I always have some nice things for every week for people to see, new stuff like that. I'm not sure, this one might suck up a bunch of time, but yeah, I have done quite a bit more recently. The last few months I've been able to produce some stuff pretty quickly, so I don't know how tight these front pegs are. That's why I'm testing them before I push this on completely. I want to make sure that I can get this back off. So I may end up trimming these pegs down as well for this front piece. Let me check who's pinging me here real quick. Sorry, guys. Oh, wait, did he come into the chat? Oh, he did. What is your airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Sorry, I try to keep up with all the chats that's going on, and sometimes I miss one. I did miss that. I'm not going to say I don't know, because then I'll be cast away, right? If anybody's ever seen Monty Python. Well, thanks for joining in, Brandon. This is my son, Brandon, by the way, if everybody's wondering. African or European. Right. That's exactly right. That's awesome. Sorry, Brandon. Every Wednesday I do a show from 6 to 7:30. So unless for some unforeseen circumstances, maybe I'll miss one. But I've been pretty consistent for a few months now, almost yearly, almost a year, I think, actually. Well, ever since I got back from Arizona, that was a nightmare. So I'm really using the higher grit sponges here just to polish these pieces, because I really don't want any scratches at all. But I'm close to finishing. I have some painted parts and seam lines. It bothered me, so I'm working on getting rid of them and preparing for repair. Well, that's true. That's good. It's one of the nice things about when you go through the painting process is that, especially with primers, we can talk about primers and what people use. I use Surfacer 1000 for most everything. I've been starting to use the Gaia Notes primer, which is really nice. I was introduced to that when I did that last resin build because I needed a primer that was going to stick to that really nicely. And that worked out really well, and I was really impressed by that. Greetings, Brandon. Thank you so much for joining in. One of my heroes, if you don't mind me saying, in this life. And now, with hopefully with all this family drama behind us, we can get down there and see Remy. I'm just going to trim off some of this peg here. Granddaughter is screaming at me for my chair. Yeah, welcome to parenthood, buddy. Oh, yeah, you did a fair share of that too. So you're saying she's quite vocal, is she? Just trying to eat my wings, man. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works, you know. You have to reprioritize the way you used to do things. I'm glad she's doing so well. You guys are doing a great job with her. She just looks amazing. She's so cute. All right. So now, I missed that tab there. So now I've got this front piece on. This is pretty much the whole right leg construction here. I'm going to pop the foot back on. Just on the bottom here. So the front has that nice little trim piece that kind of seals that off. It looks really nice. The back, see, that's why I want to color these inside, because these areas where you can see around the foot and stuff. Nice, fairly high range of motion there on the ankle. There's another ball joint here in the hip, so we'll see how well that moves around. I'm hoping I can get that kind of spread eagle type pose that she's holding in the hallway here with this kid. That would be a deal breaker if I couldn't get that to work. It looks like I'll be able to do what I need to do based on what I've seen so far. So 3 kids to hold because I can't go out to the barn and airbrush. Oh, you got to do it outside. Yeah, for a few years after I moved, or a couple of years after I moved up here into Washington, our kids were still living with us, so I didn't have a spare room to paint in. So I was painting in the garage, and I bought myself a portable camping heater that would. It was a gas propane heater, but it was designed for camping, so it was safe to use indoors. It worked out great. I could preheat the garage and then go out and do some airbrushing. I had to use I vented my spray booth into a indoor it was an indoor dryer vent box that had filters in it. What did Brandon say? Yeah, I got down to the bone chilling. 58 today. Oh my God, 58. You're so cold there. Give me a break, dude. Wait till it gets down to the 20s or less. And then come talk to me. Actually, this week it's been warmer because of the way the season's been. It hasn't been too terribly cold for the past couple of weeks, but it did get down to in the teens, I think, at one point. And we had some ice, and yeah, it was one day I couldn't even get to work because of the ice. It was pretty bad. But it's an El Nino year, so everything's a little bit warmer and more of a tropical type feel. So, all right. So the next step is we got to decide whether we're going to have open missiles or closed missiles on the leg. Oh, that's right. You did live in Kansas, so you know exactly how cold it is. You used to run -10. Okay, you got me there. I forgot about that. Yeah, we went and visited you, and it was pretty chilly there. It wasn't quite that cold, but it was pretty cold at the time we went to see you there when I took Caitlin with me. That was a fun trip, by the way. That was hilarious because that was Caitlin's first, my daughter's first ride on an airplane, and so we had a layover in Denver before we went to Kansas, and so we're coming into Denver, and you have to drop into this airport, and we hit a pocket, and just the plane dropped, significantly before it finally recovered. And I'm white knuckling it a little bit. I'm usually not nervous about being on a plane, but that was a pretty significant drop, and she's just throwing her hands up in the air, woohoo! Open missiles, by the way. Yeah, normally I would do that, but because of the scene I'm trying to recreate, they wouldn't be open in the hallway. So I'm going to have to use the closed one. Although I do like the idea of having it open, I think I have to, because of, like I said, what I'm trying to do. And I'll show you the scene again. This is let's see, here we go. Let's bring it back. There we go. So that way. So she's way over here. There we go. Whoops. You can see her above the door. And yeah, so she's not going to have her weapons out at that point. So I'm going to have to do it the other way. Well, this is a real treat, Brandon. I've never had you. I don't think I've had you in the live stream before. This is really cool. Happy you are here. All right, so G6 and G7. Another thing that is kind of unusual for this kit is Hasegawa has multiple, not multiple colored runners, but multiple colors in a kit. Typically, most of their kits are one color, maybe two. This has red, it has a pink, it's got a gray, and these black runners as well. So it is kind of an interesting change, or a nice change. It's kind of more along the Bandai lines that we're seeing. What's up, Tetsujin? Yeah, that what? Yeah, that's too close for missiles. Got to switch to guns. That's right. Yep. So yeah, we're in the hallway. Can't be firing off too much. So, all right, G7. Gonna cut these out. And 6. So the other ones that were on this runner, these are the two for the legs. This is going to be for the shoulders, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, there are 4 more pieces here. I could cut these out too. These are these round plugs here are for the leg. And go in these holes on either side. So why not? Let's cut them out. I'm going to paint them separately anyway. It's nice that they have a decent size, like this big square peg hole here. So even if I install those, once I pull this leg apart, I can actually push them back out from the back when I go to start the paint process. Where are we at? 6:54. We got about 30 more minutes or so. So 1 year old. It's hard to believe that it's almost been a year since my mother passed away too. So everything that was going on the entire last year, just the time, I mean, as stressful as it was, the time just blows by with all that crap. It's nice that these are actually labeled. After you cut them off the runner, there's actually a number, the G6 and a G7 on the back of these, so you can see that in case you get them mixed up. Yeah, it's just been It was a whirlwind. Having to use all my PTO for court hearings and other garbage. Thank God that's behind us. May your memory be eternal. Yeah, appreciate it, George. I had Facebook memory pop up the other day. There was it was one of the 9 years ago when the Kings won the LA Kings won the Stanley Cup for the second time, I believe. We were still living in California, and a buddy of mine who now lives up here too, close to me, worked for Ontario Airport, and at one point they were bringing the Stanley Cup to the Ontario Reign game, which was a Kings affiliate team. But prior to that, they were going to stop by the Ontario Airport and display the cup, and we would get to go and see it in person and everything. So I got to go see that, and it was really cool to see it in person. So anyway, fast forward here, we get a Facebook memory, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'll post that. You know, I don't typically post a lot of memories that Facebook pops up, but this one was kind of special. So I thought, all right, cool. I throw it up there, and then I start looking through the comments, and when you know, my dad actually commented on that post, and I thought, man, I miss him too, and he's been gone for 7 years. So it was kind of touching to see that his comment on there was still there, still preserved. And he says, wow, that's cool. You got to see it and got to see it in person, and not too many people get to do that. Because I'm going to frame this picture, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. So these, I guess they just go on just like that. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Not too much to it. There is a curvature to it, so you have to make sure you got that right. But side to side, they're the same. It's just a matter of matching the right curve. There we go. So much darker. All right. So I'm going to pop these in too. Why not? Get these to line up correctly. There we go. And there's just no direction with these. You just have they're rectangular, so once you get the hole lined up correctly, it'll just pop in place. Just like that. Again, I'll pop all these out and paint them when it comes time. Right now, we're just snapping the kid. Mike still gets flare-ups from the VD he got from kissing the Stanley Cup. When I said it was nice to have you in the live stream, Brandon, maybe I better reconsider that. All right, we're putting that one on screen. This is not true, by the way. Still gets flare-ups from the video. Yeah, Oh, boy. I would never do that. I would never do that to your face. Would never lie to your face. Okay. Let's get back here. Where were we? Oh, I gotta cut some pink parts out of here. So let me go reach across the camera. Here we go. All right, so for the legs, we got R9 and R3. So here, so inside is solid, outside is has the open door. So they did use undergates on some of these parts, which is kind of nice. A lot of them don't have undergates, but like for these pieces here, they do have undergates. Whoa, I knocked my microphone. Can't put an Arnold GIF in here. I lied. Remember, Sully? Remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied. Whoa! As he drops them. Yeah, it's one thing I haven't done in a while. I should do the Arnold Minute. Should have like a segment where, as we're doing a live stream, I'll just do everything in Arnold for 1 minute. Start describing what I'm doing and I don't know if that would be entertaining or annoying. Might be entertaining. Okay, gotta put baby down. I'll be checking you with you later. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, thank you so much. We'll do a video chat with Maria too. We got to get everybody together all at once and do that. That'd be great. Thanks for stopping in. Truly, truly appreciate it. Love you, buddy. Talk to you soon. Arnold would be entertaining. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of sanding. We're going to get these parts to fit perfectly in the upper leg here. Here's what we're going to do. This is supposed to go just like this. It only fits one way. I hope it does. Oh, wait. Is this? Ooh. So it only fits one way. There we go. Very nice. All right. We're going to take the second piece. Going to insert it into the outside of the leg. Just like this. It makes it very fat. Yeah. Look at that. And we got one more piece to go. J26, where are you? Should be black. Oh, there it is. Another thing they did, which I thought was interesting, it's like, you know, they got multiple runners, but some of the runners will have like 3 different letters on one. There's one runner here, like this guy. Look at this. We got L, N, Q. There's 3 different letters on one runner. So unless you know exactly what you're looking for, you gotta pay attention. Pay attention. So George, are you in the spray booth now? Or are you still watching TV? You better be putting some primer back down on that. Love you too, Brandon. More than you guys know. All right, so this fits. Oop. Nope, there it goes. Wow, really nice fit. Doing primary cleanup, nice. Nice. Nice, nice. So this whole leg, I mean, if you look at the way this is designed, this back piece is going to be painted in steel. But this whole section just moves right over the top of it so effortlessly. It's so precise. I mean, there's no gap. There's literally no gap, but you can't even feel it rubbing against or anything. It's just super, super well done. Pretty good articulation too, considering the range of motion here on the knee. It's actually quite good. All right, so there's a completed leg. Now we get to do the other side, the left leg. All right, so I'm going to start with the foot. And I'm going to switch up some runners here. Remember those I was talking about that had the, now I got the other side was all the other parts I haven't used yet. All right, 16, 17. I think the design, the way they've designed this so far, based on what I've seen, is actually really nice because there's only a few seams that you have to attend to. The foot was molded in one solid, the front of the foot, one solid piece, no mold line, nothing on it that would that you got to clean up. The back of the heel is the same way. The bottom of the foot, between the two, there's a section there that covers up that gap. So they really did a good job of covering up areas that, like the old Bandai 144 Quam-ra was really bad. I mean, it was horrible. I could actually pull that out of the cabinet if you want. I painted that in myriad colors as well, but it's rough because that was all hand painted days back then. We weren't airbrushing anything. Oh yeah, before I do that, I got a Q10. There's one more. Here we go. They've got these like extender pins on a few of these parts. It's just like almost like a rolling pin style piece that goes, extends. I'm not sure why they did it that way. I think they just maybe couldn't mold it any other way because they had to. You basically have to go from the inside of the top of the foot down to the bottom, but by doing that, to do that, they have to enter this, put this piece in there. So it makes it kind of interesting. A little extra to line up. The way they designed the feet with the seam around the bottom of the foot, it's actually nice because it doesn't. There's not a lot of cleanup there. The way they run the seams right on the edges. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. And that's probably the one I have. I couldn't remember. It's been so long. But that's not. I don't think that's the one I built. I'm pretty sure I built a Bandai version. It was a green one, or at least it was green on the box, but I painted it red. And that was a Bandai version. I'm pretty sure I have the Bandai version. But you're talking about the original. We need a completed kit tour on your live stream. Really? You want a completed kit tour of my room? That's not too hard to do, I guess. You probably just have to take the camera off and walk around with it or something. Because all my cases, my glass, my display cases are behind me. With the exception of one, which is off to my left. All right, now we got the basic cleanup here. I'm gonna cut some polycaps. Let's see, one of these. And I bought the molds after mine folded. Okay, so yeah. I think mine was Bandai branded though, so yeah, it would have been a reprint from them. And then I need a 14 right here. It's so interesting to hear my son talk about raising his daughter. It's crazy because they were trying for a while to have a child, and ultimately they ended up adopting. And it's so awesome to see just the transformation from once they got approved and actually were able to adopt. It's just amazing to see how far both of them have come. That's awesome. So I don't need to do too much cleanup here on the back of the leg, or back of the heel, because there's going to be a piece that will go over this. I'm just basically knocking down the nubs enough to make sure that the fit is good. Can you put Mr. Color Primer on metal detail parts? Will affect the plastic. Dadhood is cool and changes you. Yeah, it does, George. You are correct. So Julius has a question, and I'll leave this open to the room. Can you put Mr. Metal Primer on metal detail parts after they have been glued to the kit? Will affect the plastic. I don't know, because I don't actually have the metal primer. I need to get some of that. He's saying I do, so looks like there's your answer. I imagine it's a slightly different formula for the metal primer, but it's not going to hurt the plastic any. It'd be like using a resin primer on plastic too. It's formulated slightly different. It's not going to have adverse effects to plastic if you actually get some on there. I mean, I'm not sure I would do the entire piece in that, but based on Brandon's not listening again. I was going to say maybe we could get together tomorrow. Tomorrow night. We don't have a live stream. Get the family together. Hey, Pabs, what's up, buddy? It does not hurt plastic. It just helps surfacer etch better to metal surfaces. Okay, well, there's your answer. I think that's... I'm going to put that on screen as well. There we go. So Chris Pabs has further reinforced the idea that metal primer will not hurt plastic. Okay. Pretty good so far. Ready to start gluing some pieces together here. I got my little clamps. These guys are great. Home Depot, like a buck, maybe. Buy a bunch of them. Maybe even less than that. I'm not sure. Okay. Start this one here. Let's see. We got to put polycap in 2 different places. Down here. All right, time to bust out the cement. How you doing, Chris? Good to have you, man. So tonight I got to, in the last few weeks I've been tinkering around with the intro and outro videos. I had a friend of mine who's in the film industry. I hit him up, and he actually produced a nice one for me. And I got to use that tonight, which is kind of cool for those that got to see it. And he's also got a little outro for me as well at the end of the show tonight. You see that. But for those that missed it, go back and watch it. I already played it twice for those in the beginning of the video. All right, so I'm just going to squeeze these together here. There we go. That'll get a nice, let that sit for a bit. Just put a couple clamps on there. Again, there's going to be a piece over the heel here, so I don't have to worry too much about that. I may have to, no, even the front will be covered up. So these seams are not going to be something I need to really overly be concerned with. Good workout, finished. Back to work on a few things. Nice. All right, so first we put this up in the foot. And this was that long pin I was talking about. I'm not sure why they couldn't mold it into the foot, but it just extends that pin that much further down. Oh, well, I have to do something else first here. I don't think I can put this on yet. Nope. We'll have to wait. The order of assembly here is I've got to put the heel portion on here first, and then the bottom of the foot goes on. I don't remember that on the other side being an issue, but apparently it is. So we'll just put these aside for a second, and we'll start the second. Start the upper leg. And this is a piece of that inner structure that I was talking about. A lot of these larger pieces have these almost like skeletal pieces down the middle of the actual, whatever piece you're building to kind of give it some rigidity rather than just having it like this, like the upper leg. It's just two big open pieces. So you got this large piece inside there to kind of give it some weight. And this isn't a piece I have to worry about taking apart later, so I will completely secure this together. Don't have to worry about the nubs so much because, again, I'm going to take care of all these seams. But I don't sand these nubs first. I wait till after I've already glued everything together. Because if you've ever done it before, you'll know what I'm talking about. Say, for instance, I take a piece like this and I sand this nub off. Then when I put my other half together, and then all of a sudden I've got a low spot here. So I'm going to wait until I put those two halves together, sand them as a unit. That way there's not going to be any recess or gap. And if I glue it right, I should be able to take up that, sand that down without even not even needing any kind of filler or surfacer or anything like that to fill it up. Okay, one more ball joint here. I got to cut out the PC here. Polycap. Yeah, Chris. Oh, you guys are talking workouts. Yeah, I don't do that much. Okay. Again, I wasn't too worried about. Not worried about gluing these in because this piece is not going to come apart. So I'm going to go ahead and just. One of the things too, I think I don't know if you could see it, which is kind of cool about this kit, is there's with the two halves, the way they come together, there's actually a negative recess on this side and a positive ridge on this side. So when they come together, there's an overlap of those two pieces, and it helps eliminate that seam as well. By having that overlap. So I'm just going to pop in this first. This is just the center kind of support structure there. You can see it still overlaps because these are going to go over both. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in these holes, and then I'll press this together hopefully while leaving a slight gap that I can then run some more cement through and squeeze it together, and I'll have a nice good seam here. So I'm only going to go partly together. Gosh, it almost went all the way. I didn't even try. It just almost completely fell together. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of a gap that I can wick in this glue. These fit really, really well, so it didn't take much at all. Okay. Give it a good squeeze. All right. I'm not sure these clamps will fit. Now, I got one here, but that's about all I can get because this is a little bit too thick. We'll let that sit aside and go on to the next piece. That's going to be more of the upper leg now. Let me just toss my excess nibs. All right. So yeah, now we've got I got to switch pieces here. Oh, almost dropped a runner. All right, so this is pretty much almost the entire leg. There's a couple of pieces here for the main body, like the shoulder area, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut all these out because I know that's what's coming. Some pretty large gates on these. Surprising enough. Some of them are small, and then you got these massive gates. I don't know why some of them have such large gates, but it's no big deal, I guess. A little bit extra trim, clean up. All right, now we're going to switch these as well. This one's almost used up. So now we'll go to that is G2. That's this. This is again that big center structure support. Half of this is exposed out the back. At the back of the leg has a black stripe down the center. That's actually what you see on this part, and the way it fits is it leaves so many gates on it. Let's see, we'll cut this off. Just kind of skipping ahead here because I know what I'm going to be using for this leg, so I'm kind of just cutting everything off. Might as well clean it all up at once. Five minutes, boys and girls. And we should start wrapping this one up. As I'm cutting more and more pieces off here. I think that's it for that. So put that one back. Yeah, I got quite a few pieces here to clean up. Then I got the pink runner, which most likely be this one here. And this one. All right, the rest is for the body. All right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we're going to start cleaning up here. Let's go back to this view here, a little bit further back. So yeah, quite a few pieces here for the lower leg, just essentially the upper here. Still got the foot. I got to finish putting together, trim up a bunch of these other pieces, and then we're going to assemble all this. Now I did cut a lot of these pegs down on this center structure. I trimmed the pegs back so I can disassemble this because there's actually a seam here. I want to paint some of these pieces inside so you can't see the red plastic inside, like especially like behind the knee and the ankle area. I want to paint those interiors so when I do put this together, you're not going to see any of that red plastic, just bare plastic or whatever, even just primer. So I want to cover all that up. That's what we'll do. We'll do the same with the arms, and then we'll continue construction on the main body and stuff like that. So next week, we'll see where we're at. Maybe I'm ready to start some primer. I don't know. This is, as large as it is, it's fairly simple in its design. So we might be able to start priming some parts. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's go back to let's do this. Yeah, good show tonight, guys. I know it's kind of mundane, some of this stuff, as far as like the basic construction stuff, but it's nice to see the scale of it. It's really big. Kind of liking it. Appreciate each and every week you guys come hang out with me. Thank you so much for joining in, and we will continue the basic construction on this and get ready for priming parts, and we'll see where we're at. I don't know how it's going to hopefully move steadily along pretty quickly. It seems like it will. Maybe the body might be a little more complicated. There is a light on the top behind the head. I'm not sure if I'll be adding any LEDs or anything like that. That's another thought, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Maybe even with thrusters. I don't know yet because it's going to be up in the hallway. I think that image showed some glowing kind of thrusters back there. So maybe put some LEDs. We'll see. Have a good night, brother. You too, Mr. Void Bringer. And George, fun time. Thank you again. You bet. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll watch you in the morning when I get up. Replay your show. See where you're at on the GM Cannon or the tank, whichever one you're going to be working on. And yeah, thanks again, guys. Be good humans. And call your mom, call your dad. Don't text them, don't email them, call them. Because I tell you, the first thing to go is the sound of someone's voice when they're gone. And I don't mean to I'm not trying to bring the room down. I'm just saying, it's important, especially when you get my age and people start passing away, and you forget, you take some of these things for granted. And it's good to have, that connection with people, especially the ones close to you. So anyway, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next week. And be good humans. And let's bring up the outro. See you soon.